And okay, so just to make sure that everyone knows about TNT, TNT is a platform where you can practice your English, Spanish, French, and other languages. It's a conversation platform, and if you want classes, we have two on our website. And for who doesn't know me, my name is Yasmin, I'm 20 years old, and I work as a teacher. So today we will talk about empathy burnout. And Bruno, can you start introducing yourself?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bruno. I'm from São Paulo. Currently, I'm working at the IT area of a company of IT. And well, I'm here to practice English and learn with you and increase my vocabulary as well. So that's it.
Thanks. And what about you, Mariana?
Good morning, guys. I'm just looking that we have two Brunas and one Bruno here. So my name is Mariana. I'm 23 years old. I live in Ilhéus, Bahia, and I'm here to improve my English. What about you, Bruna?
I am Bruna. I live in Brasilia. I'm married. I have two sons. I 39 years old, and I work with public service. And is this? And you, Bruna Carreta?
Good morning, I'm Bruna. I live in São Paulo. I work as an English teacher. What else? I live with my family, my parents, and my brother, and I've been here on TNT since September last year. That's all.
Okay, so let's start. The first question is for you. What is empathy and how could you describe this word? So this is very difficult to describe this feeling, right? But I think is when we, not that we feel the same thing that the other person are feeling, because I think this is impossible, but when we try to understand what is happening, the situation that this person is going through. What about you, Mariana?
I agree with you. I think it's when we try to put ourselves in the place that the other person are, not to feel the same thing, but to care about the person and the feelings and everything. And yeah, that's it. What about you, Bruno?
I think it almost the same. I think empathy is when you as well when you can see the point of view of others and think why they are thinking that way and how some actions or some decisions could affect them in the way they are viewing that. So as Marina said, is something related to see with other eyes to understand what they are thinking and feeling as well. And what about you, Bruno? Rita?
Yes, you said everything. I totally agree. Yeah, it's about trying to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, and of course, sometimes we can't. We haven't experienced the same thing, but if we are empathetic, we can try to understand, or it's not about trying to put ourselves in that place, but also listen and try to understand if that happened to us, how would we feel. So I think that's it. What do you think, Bruna?
So I agree with you and the other colleague. And I think when I think in empathetic, other people said it's needed to put in the feel the other person, but when Yasmin like Yasmin said, it's not. It's very difficult because you don't have the you don't the you don't have the experience of the other person. And I think the empathy it's necessary. You understand what the need of the other. It's very important. I think it's the empathy. Oh my God. Is this
Okay, so let's go to the next one. I think we all think in the same way. So do you think that people are born with empathy or they are taught it? Like, I really believe that we learn about this, and I don't think that we learn so much with our parents. And I'm saying this because, like, when we are a child and we are crying a lot, they just tell, oh, why are you crying? You don't have reasons to cry, you know. So I think in this kind of situations, they didn't teach us like this. So what about you, Bruno?
That's an interesting question because I have a son and he is 1 year and a half. So I got this part that you said is me few months ago that he was crying. He doesn't know how to speak, and we need to figure it out why he was crying and etc. So sometimes when I was without pain, I was thinking like that. Why are we crying? To have reasons to do it. Um, but as we study a little more about childhood, we try to understand that on his eyes, you know. But I think that um, we born with some kind of empathy, and we improve this empathy during our lives, especially when we have people who have this gift. I think so. Um, I guess this is my opinion. We born with some kind of empathy, and we improve this, or no, during our lives. And what about you, Mariana?
I think that we learn. I agree with the part, and I'm thinking now that Yasmin said a little bit about the how the parents say it with us, and Bruno too. I think, for example, my grandparents with my mother, for example, they were like Yasmin said, and my mother with me was a little bit in the same way, but not the same. I think she tried to understand me more and try to say the things that Bruno said. But she has also the part of my grandparents, you know. And I think now we are caring more about it. I don't know if the parents are studying more, or there are more books or people that say more about it, and now everyone are trying to to do it. But I have that impression. I don't know, I'm not a mother, so I'm just talking what I think. But I think we learn how to be empathetic in life. What about you, Bruna?
so I think it's totally you learning about the empathy because it's not occurring with me. I'm I think I was empathy, a person empathy, but now I learning about this. I read a lot about this subject. I read a lot of book about nonviolent communication, It's for me, it's very important in my work and my family. And I think it's totally you learning about empathy. Empathy. And the Bruna Carreira.
Yes. I was thinking about it, everything you said about nonviolent communication, and I totally agree with you. Bruno was talking about his child, and Mari also said about the influence of her family. So I think it's something we are born with, but at the same time we need to discuss and to learn more, because this thing of nonviolent communication and on how to deal with other people in a way we are not being aggressive and we are being empathetic and respectful. Sometimes we don't know how to do it in the best way. So we can always learn from it, learn from experiences and from people who study about it. Just like Mari said, I think it's getting more common nowadays. Many books and like people talking more about that, mainly with children or at the workplace. We are understanding we don't want to be disrespected, or we don't want our kids to be disrespected or disrespectful to other children. So I think it's really important. That's it.
Yeah, I think like maybe we learn through difficult situations, but maybe we learn the opposite too, like, okay, so if this person is doing this with me, I will do the same, or the opposite too. So now the question is there a difference between knowing what someone is going through and having empathy? Bruna Carreta, could you start?
Mm, I think so. I think when you know what someone is going through, you just have the information. But when you have empathy, you are really listening and worried about what the person is saying, and even if you don't know how to help, because like sometimes there are some problems that are not ours and we don't know how to deal with them, but at the same time we are worried about it and we want to help somehow. So I think if you only know, it's like, okay. I don't care that much. But if you have empathy, you are there to help the person to go through it. It's not just I know about it. I don't know. What do you think, Bruna? Do you agree?
Yes, I agree with you. And I think it's a. I'm sorry. I I'm just I received the message here and I stopped the 1 moment. All right. Sorry. 1 minute. Please, Bruno, help me start.
No problem. Like, okay. So for me, yeah, there is a difference because as Bruna said, we can know about what someone is going through, and even though don't have empathy for her or him, but when you have empathy and you know what the people is going through, what things are going with them, I guess is your empathy has more quality. I don't know if this exists, but well, I guess you can help them better. Like where to help and how to help when you have this. But only know what the people is going through is not sufficient to help them or even to have empathy. But because one thing can improve the other. So, well, yeah, that's my opinion. And what about you, Mari?
I agree with you. I think there is a difference, and I think that even if we are, the moment that we are listening, the people say, there are different to have a listen with empathy. I don't know, because yeah, it's different, you know, to pay attention what the people are saying, really be in the moment and care about what everything that the person are saying. And also, I think when we are listening, do not try to answer everything or try to have the solution, because I think when we are just listening, when the person stop to talk, we are trying to say, you can do this, or this will solve your problems, and it's not like that. I think if we do things like that, we are not having empathy, because we are just trying to just, the impression that I have is just that we are just trying to solve to the person stop to talk about it, you know. And yeah, it's complicated, and sometimes just listen, it's a good way to have empathy, to just say, oh, I'm here, listen to you, even if we don't have anything to say. To the people, know that they are someone to talk about. I don't know. And now Bruna wants to answer.
Yes, thank you. So I think it sometimes is a mistake above the know what someone is going through and having empathy, because when you put in the place the other person, I think it's necessary you understand of the other, and it's very difficult to put in your in the place. But when you understand of the other, it's very important, and in this moment you have empathy. So I think it's that sometimes it's a mistake, but you need to, sometimes you don't going through, but you have empathy. I think it's this.
Yeah, I totally agree with you all. And I was the person who I wanted to share everything, you know, like if someone said a situation, I wanted to share my opinion. And I think maybe 2 weeks ago, I saw a video that talks about what is to have empathy. And it's like when you don't need to give an advice for someone, you know, you just tell, okay, so do you want an advice, or I will just listen to you and not give an advice, you know. So I think this is important, to know what the person needs, right? So Mariana, could you read the next question and answer?
Yes. In what kinds of situations do we need to have empathy with others? What kind? Oh my God.
Difficult, right?
I don't know. It's my answer. No. I really don't know, but I will try to answer something. I think we can try to have empathy in our lives during the day. It will be a lot of different situations, even that I can imagine. For example, I can be just walking on the street and see something happens, or see someone or a friend or someone that I don't know that start to speak with me or not speaking with me, but I can see that maybe the person wants someone or needs someone to talk about or to help with something. For example, if the person with a lot of things, pesadas, I don't know in English, we can see and realize that the person needs help, for example. And there are a lot of different situations, actually. I think when we are talking here, we think more about not these physical things, but listen and try to help in some way the person, what the person are passing through. I don't know, it's really general. What about you, Bruno?
I agree with you, Mari. And I was thinking when you said when people are carrying like heavy things, and I was thinking in that moment that empathy is very related to paying attention, because when you pay attention to others, you will see their face, how they are talking about a certain topic, and you can ask more or you can just listen. I was thinking about this question as well, and I was thinking like when a person lose their job, her or his job, or lose someone who is close to them, like a death, or when they get disappointed with something. I guess this point is very important because sometimes I'm talking with my wife and she's like disappointed with something, and for me it's not something that is really important, like, oh, my father-in-law, he leaves the say like something in the middle of the room, and for me it's nothing, is something that is not really important, but for her it's really important. So um as I'm talking with her and listening to her carefully, I can have empathy to say, oh, this is true, it's really important, even that for me is not that important. So I guess there, as Mari said, there's a lot of situations that we can have empathy. um and what about you, Bruna?
So I think for me, all the time, I needed to have empathy, because in my job, when my boss told me, hungry, with hungry, I don't know, I think it's so terrible, and I think, no, it's only a moment. She's have a problem. I think it's this. I think in the moment it's empathy with her, and the other moment in my life is, for example, with my son. I think it's very important I have an empathy with them, because he's teenager. So sometimes it's necessary. I think they this they are teenager, and they do this because he need pay attention. I think it's a kind of a moment. It's very, and when I before after I read the books, I think all the moment I think it's necessary. I understand the other necessity, what the other necessity, what, why she or he said this. I think all the moment I needed to have an empathy. Do you, Bruna Carreta? I think you is very empathetic.
You think so? That's great. Thank you so much. Yes, you said many nice things, about listening to other people, paying attention. But I was thinking here of the moments when we don't know how the things are, and we haven't experienced that. Just like, for example, I'm not a trans person. I am a cisgender woman, but I try to put myself at trans people, to put myself at their shoes and try to understand how we, as like in the place we are at, how can we help them and support them. I will never know how this is, but I can try to understand that. Or when we're talking about racism or other minorities, just trying to answer something different from what you said. In this moment too, we need to be empathetic. And yeah, said something really nice, about when we don't always have to tell our experience, because sometimes we don't have any experience. We just need to listen and uh, understand if the person needs us to tell them something, or just hear them and be really paying attention at this moment. So it was really nice, everything you said, guys. That's it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you all. And I think there is a hard situation that we need to have empathy. That is like when someone are manipulating you or are saying, like, I don't know how to say this, but saying not good things to you, things that really hurt you. So it's really hard. And okay, you don't need to accept this, but you can try to understand why this person are doing this with you. So I think this is important too. And okay, so this question is so difficult too, and I'm trying to think about this. So in what job is empathy very important, and in what job is empathy a bad thing to have? So maybe I think like when you are a doctor, you have like the both sides, because you need to tell to a family that, I don't know, someone passed away, but you need to do your job. You need to try to find a solution to help this person. So what do you think, Bruna?
Well, I think it's our job to customer service. It's very important. For the other question, I think, and what job it's empathetic, it's bad. I don't know. I don't think so about this. I think it's our job. It's necessary to have empathy. You said about the doctor. I thought it's very, very important because the other person, the family suffer a lot. It's very difficult, no? And sometimes I'm a I don't know the word that's best degree. I think it's degree. I agree with physiotherapy. So I worked with UTI, I don't know. And it's very difficult because sometimes you need to do with the patient, and the family it's don't understand why you did this, and you explanation about what happened, and the family needs think it's only only your people, only your family. It's important, and sometimes the other person it's more need more take care, and so it's very difficult for the doctor. But I think it's the customer service. It's very difficult. It's necessary to have empathy. And you, Mariana?
Yes, me. Today the questions are, oh my god. I'm trying to think. I will say something different that I don't know if you will agree. But if I say something different than that, I will not saying the truth. That what I believe. I do believe that sometimes having empathy is a bad thing. Because, for example, I have experienced to see some people someday. We know that a lot of jobs, the people that are working are exploration, and sometimes the chief have a say something that the people that are working have been grateful that they have a job, and just that, and the people that are working and being exploited sometimes have a kind of empathy with that. Oh my god, and oh my, I feel like no, you don't have to feel it. And it's the moment that I think that it's a bad thing to have empathy, because actually the person don't have empathy with everyone that are working there. I don't know if you guys understand exactly what I said, but yeah. And what about you, Bruno?
That's a great point that you raised, Mari. It's hard to have empathy in that point, and hard to explain why we need to have empathy. And I was thinking about that question because, as Bruno said, every role that we have, customer service, it is important us to have empathy. I worked as a telemarketing attendant, and I was used to call to people to remember them about their debts. You know what I mean? And sometimes I had to have empathy, and well, sometimes no, because I know that they have money to pay that. But a job that I think that is hard to have empathy or bad to have empathy, I was thinking about that was like a lawyer, a person who judge people about their crimes. And well, I know that it's good to have empathy for the people who suffer that, or but it's, I don't know if it's understandable to have empathy for the people who commit or who did the crimes. I don't know. I know it's a hard question, as Mari said, but I think that a lawyer has empathy, could be good and bad at the same time. But well, I don't know. What do you think, Bruna? Please help us.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I was thinking of lawyers too, sometimes it's, or maybe judges, um, lawyers and also judges. I think sometimes you need to be really rational, to make decisions and don't follow your emotions if you're a lawyer or a judge. But at the same time, you didn't say something important, What about teachers? We need to be really empathetic, So, educate like people who work in the education field, they really need to be empathetic because there are a lot of things like related to emotions, social problems. Um, Students sometimes need our attention, so this is definitely a profession where empathy is important. And I'm not talking about like teachers only, but everyone who is in this area, like assistants, people who work at school. I think this is important. That's all. What do you think? Yes, you answered already.
Yeah, but I was talking
Yeah.
about this with my mother like last week, and we were talking about to be a lawyer, and like if you are a lawyer, you can like choose if you will defend someone that is innocent or not. So sometimes you will try to defend someone who really commit a crime. So I think this will be very difficult. So, yeah. And the next question, I brought this question because it's something that I can do now because I'm getting this bad energy. So how do you feel when you see the news on TV? Bruno.
Sorry, guys, my connection is really or very unstable. I need to answer the next question. Is that right?
Yeah.
7. Oh, how do you feel when you see the news on TV? Um, that's a great question. Sometimes I feel really bad about the news. I was watching TV yesterday at night in a channel that has a globe. And I was thinking, man, how could I begin or start the week watching these kind of news? Um, and sometimes they are so tendentious, like on what they want to bring to us, that I don't know how to process this kind of information. And um, it's hard to understand our feelings, to know who is right, who is wrong, or for whom I should have empathy and for whom I should not. So for me, it's very confusing uh, watching the news nowadays. Yeah, that's my feeling. That's how I feel when I watch TV these past days. I'm not used to watch much TV, but when I watch, I have this kind of feeling. Um, and what about you, Bruno? What do you think?
Well, it's dependent. Sometimes I see the news and I think about what play the political side. I don't know. Sometimes I'm thinking it's right, left side, and I think when I see the news, I I should the for example, global. I think, yeah, it's only left, political left. I've side political left. I think it's so bad. I don't like it to see this, but I think it's necessary the all point of view, and I I think I don't judge the the news. I only received the news. It's it's this. I see and I think, okay, but what I do about this? Nothing. All right, it's for me it's okay, and I sit in my computer and I study and study. When I think it's I think it's a thing. I put meu empenho, I don't know the said, meu empenho to change the news. I think it's so good, but sometimes for me it's not problem about the news. I don't like to see, but because, for example, the war, Ukrainian war, the pandemic, the bad news, it's so bad, but I'm relaxed. I think it's impossible I do something about the Ukrainian war or right. I think it's this. And you, Bruna Keita, what do you think?
I was talking to some friends yesterday actually about it, about the way the news are broadcast on TV, usually with a lot of sensationalism. I forgot if this word exists or not, but um, and sometimes it is complicated, uh, depending on the channel we are watching. Sometimes on TV, we usually see more daily problems like traffic, like people being stolen, things like this. So nowadays, I try to listen to podcasts and not watch TV, because on podcasts they can summarize the main problems around the city or the world. So I think we don't have too much details of daily problems we have in our cities, but it's more focused on general stuff that is happening around the world. So of course I don't feel happy when I see the news, um, but I also know TV is a way of showing these things. So I think it will always be like this. It will always be this way. And according to what you said, Bruna, about the left or right part, every media we are reading, they have their own point of view, right? So it is hard to tell. It's more about what we are going to do with the information than what they are trying to tell us. How are we going to deal with that? Is it something I agree? Is it the way I believe? So it's hard. Yeah, I don't feel happy. And you, Mari?
Me too. I don't feel happy. But I don't like to watch TV, but I like to be informed. Actually, sometimes I just think, oh my God, why I'm doing that to me? Because it's hard to be informed too. But I used to read on internet the news, and sometimes I listen podcasts too. Sometimes I watch TV, but it's not my favorite way to know the news. And yes, I think it's difficult. We need to try to see the point and the opinion of the person that are saying or writing. It always will be a opinion or a side. And sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't agree. And I think more than that, it's important to see the source that the person are using, and formed our own opinion after that. And Yasmin, do you already answer?
Yeah, I can see the news on TV because I'm feeling very bad with the news, but I try to read. So I made a subscription on a newsletter that called The News too. So it's very good. I think it's better to read because I can't see photos or videos about the situations. So I think we have time to answer one more question. So do you think that is there a limit to have empathy with others? Bruna Carreta, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the limit is the point that it's not going to affect the way we live or our limits. Like sometimes we are too worried about what about other people, but they are not doing something to change the things that are happening in their lives. Or for example, we are more worried about them than about us. We forget to focus on us, and we are spending a lot of time thinking about them. For me, that's the limit. What do you think, Bruno? Do you agree?
Guys, sorry. Is the question 8? Okay. um
The question is the 11. Is there a limit to have empathy with others?
okay, it's not 8. Yes. I remember when Mari said about people who influenced by others. So I guess there is a limit to have empathy with others as well. But we need to do this consciently, like think about it, do that with intention, because, well, it's empathy. We never know what others thinking. So I think it's something that we need to ponder before do it. What about you, Bruno?
Well, I think it's don't that isn't limited to have empathy, because I thought here, because one times my son was stolen. I think it's stolen your cell phone, and when you come to home, I said for him, all right, no problem, and it's necessary you forgive him. And my son's very angry about this. What? How I forgive him? He put the knife in my neck. So I think I said to him that it's necessary to empathy, because I don't know what happened with him. Why did he did he did he do this? I think it's this. So I think it's not have it's that isn't limit to have empathy.
Okay, so welcome back, everyone. I want to know, Mariane, how was the conversation?
Like very much. It's very important to talk about empathy. Nowadays, very important. So I like.
And what is empathy for you?
For me, is understand the feelings, mind another people think, and I don't know, put on the places they in the other people. For me, it's very important.
So Bianca, how was the conversation? And do you think is there a limit to have empathy with others?
I liked the conversation. I could see their point of view, which was, for me, it was like everyone thought like the same way. Depends. I was thinking about this. I think you got my mind anyway. And yeah, I think when it's like making you feel not good, and I think there is a limit, this situations. and then you have to, you know, okay, I won't take care of it, it's all right, and then you just go and live your life. That's the limit, I guess.
Yeah. And what do you think, Elisandra? Do you agree?
Yes, I think people have problems. All people have problems, and sometimes we need to help and to advise and support in some moments. But when people is using these situations to our benefits, for example, and yes, is using you to get something, or yes, get their necessities, this is the moment to stop, to help.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And what about you, Atamis?
Why me?
Because I love to hear your opinion.
Okay. Is there a limit to have an empathy with others? No, I don't think it is. You can be empathetic, but the limit maybe is yourself. Like I understand how I can help or not. If I can't help, maybe my help it is saying go to the psychologist and to understand what you have, or you have to go to the doctor or something. That's your limit. But to be empathetic, to feel what the other person is feeling, I don't think so. I think you can feel, but there are limits to what you can do for that person. So yeah, like as Elisandra said, people can use you, but you have to know until what is the point you can be used to, you know, like I want to be used, I can help or I can't. So that's the limit, but to feel, I don't think so.
Yeah, like maybe you can try to understand this person, but don't accept. Yeah. So I'm sharing with you the link of the feedback. So please go there now and tell me what do you think about this conversation. If you have suggestions too, you can put there. So I want to thank you all for this amazing conversation and see you in the next week. Thank you, guys.